Hello and welcome. My name is Kathy A, and today I thought I would do my September and October faves and flops. Now, as you know, I've been kind of out of commission for about 6 weeks fixing up the house. I'm back. I've got a ton of stuff to share with you, so let's just get started. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Hope you appreciate the honesty and know that I do have your best interest at heart. I want you to save money. If there's a really inexpensive product that works just as well as a high-end product, I'm right there. I'm so on that. So anyway, let's get started. I'm going to start with something unusual. I love the idea of apple cider vinegar, and as you can remember from my Vermont country store tour, I took a big old spoonful of their elixir that has like apple cider vinegar in it, and I made the face, the face. So I was looking online, and on Amazon I found these. These are the apple cider vinegar gummies with the mother, which is the really good stuff that's in apple cider vinegar. But they're little gummy bears, and they taste like wild cherry. They're kind of a cross between, they're not too sweet, but they are a wild cherry little gummy. It's like having a piece of candy in the morning, and there's your apple cider vinegar. It is so good for you. At this time of year, I caught a very bad cold from somebody who came into my office with their sick kid. And you know how sometimes you know when you're catching a cold? Well, the kid was all over my desk, running the nose, using the pens, putting their hands everywhere. And I know I caught the cold then. You kind of know when you catch it. And I took 2 of these every day, and the cold was gone in 3 days. And I can't think of anything else that I did differently than I normally do when I catch a cold, so I was really impressed. Now, this is the Mix RX Apothecary Collection, and it's the apple cider vinegar gummies. And I think when I bought them, these weren't sent to me. I'm not sponsored or anything. I'm never sponsored. Sometimes people send me things, but I'll let you know. Anyway, they didn't send me this, but I think I bought these and got 1 bottle free. And I'm telling you, every morning I have this, and I've been feeling really good. And it's very good for your gut health. It's very good in general for your metabolism. So I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse, but apple cider vinegar is really thousands of years old, that it's been good for you. So anyway, this was one of my faves this month. Also, and this one's unusual, I saw somebody else recently talking about this too, and I was so tickled because I thought I was being unique. Anyway, this is the Just for Men Beard and Mustache color, and this is the blonde shade, which is the M1015. And this is not like using your regular hair color. What this is, a little mixing tray, and you get 2 tubes. One is the color and one is the developer, just like a hairdressing thing. But the difference here is you just put equal amounts of each. I'm just going to do this once. You just need a little blob like this. Can you see that? And then a little blob of even size of the other stuff. That's the developer. And you mix it together. I have a little, you can use a little throwaway mascara wand, or you can use one of these little eyeliner things. Just mix it together. You only need that amount, so you can save the rest for more uses. And where does this go? It goes right on your eyebrows. We've got gray hair and white hair. You know those big old gnarly white hairs? It's like, what is this? It's like caveman city, right? So all these white hairs are coming up, and I'm like, ooh, and the brow tints don't seem to want to stick to those white hairs. This stuff does. You only put it on for 10 minutes. You don't have to wait longer than that for more effect, because after 10 minutes it doesn't work. So I have stubborn white hair, and I put it on very gently. You don't want to get it in your eye. Very gently, I just kind of painted it onto my eyebrows, and you have plenty left. So then after 10 minutes, I wiped it off, and then I took a wet pad and I kind of rinsed it, and then I washed my face. And it hadn't quite set in all of the white, so I did it a second time. So this is where this thing's gonna last like 6 months at least. So it's a great deal, and it dyes your eyebrows. And the blonde is a great shade. It's a very light tan brown color. The light brown is only slightly different, so don't be turned off by the man on the cover. So, you know, men have to always buy hair color for themselves with women on the cover, but don't be turned off because there's a man on the cover. It's made for stubborn, thick hair that doesn't take well to color. So they have a little brush they include with it, but I don't use that. I use my own little applicator. It works really well. So I highly recommend this. I think it works really well. You just have to be careful, and it covers your actual hair all the way down to the root. It's a great deal, it really is. And that's the Just for Men Mustache and Beard. Who would have known? I was watching, I don't know if it was HSN or QVC, and I get suckered in by really good sales pitches. And so I bought a set of Edward Bess stuff. Now these are, it was a set, there was a whole bunch of stuff. Let me go over them one by one. First of all, this is the Edward Bess. It's a really nice brand. The Ultra Slick Lipstick Demi Buff. It feels somewhat cheap considering the price tag on this. So it is a very neutral pinky nude color. Yeah, no scent, but not bad, not bad. It really wasn't for me. It's more of a cool toned nude pink, and the formulation was very nice. It went over the lips well. It's a cream finish. It's not matte and it's not glossy, so I thought it was a very nice all-purpose kind of lipstick. Now this is the Quad Royale, and I think if you bought these as a set, you got a deal on it. I forget now because it took a while to get to me. So I had dipped into this a little bit. Yeah. This was, you get a mirror here, and then you get 4 shades. You get a blank setting powder, which is not, and you get 3 kind of highlights and kind of a cheeky blush that's very satiny. Very, very satiny. Hello. I kind of thought it was a pleasant thing, but for some reason I thought it would look different. I mixed them all together and I wound up getting a kind of a very shiny hot mess on my cheeks. So it didn't really work for my skin. The brush wasn't bad. It's one of those, you know, flat brushes that you can go on. I thought it was fine. The brush was fine. The mirrored compact's nice. It feels nice in the hand. But I was a little disappointed in the highlighters. For some reason I thought they would be a little more interesting and not all the same shade. They all look the same shade when they're on. This one is hysterical. This is the Complexion Correcting Mousse Foundation. So you see this big old box. Now the selling point on this puppy was that you get a brush with it. It's one of those painter brush kind of things, you know, like they use at Trish McAvoy and Jane Iredale, you know, those flat tip brush. They're okay. But look at this. This huge box just holds this. So as a mousse foundation, I thought it would be very hydrating, very creamy, good for aging skin, age friendly. It is not. This is it. This is it. Hardly any coverage, but the bad part is it sinks into your lines immediately. Immediately. It was all kinds of lines going on. And it dried down and it made all those little kind of dots that you can get, kind of a lace pattern under your eyes and everything. It was so disappointing for the price point that it was. I'm thinking, really? And there was not very much cover. You can see it didn't cover this spot I have on my arm. Didn't cover it. So for not very much coverage, but what does go on goes into your lines and then makes the polka dot pattern. This was a huge disappointment. The brush I liked. I liked the brush a lot. I think it's very soft. As these kind of brushes go, it's very soft. It feels good in the hand. It washes well. So the brush I like. The foundation, not so much. I don't know very much about Edward Bess company at all, and so I don't know. It was one of those nights, you know how sometimes you're drinking wine and you're watching TV and you think, oh, I've got to have that, whatever it is, you know, so that's what happened. This one had a bow around it, another waste of packaging. This one has a liner and it has a trio of eyeshadows, and I was excited because these are my colors. These are my colors. Yeah, you know, the light for the lid, the medium for the crease, and the dark for the edges. Very disappointing. Very disappointing. It really didn't stay very well. They did not blend well at all. And you get this ridiculous little brush that looks almost like a nail polish brush with it. And I thought, what am I going to do with that? That's like, it doesn't do anything. Not at all. So.
You know what does do some good, though, is subscribing to the Kathy A. Show. You know, she's wonderful. You've missed her. She's put together a home for us. Anyway, please click the subscribe and notifications so you know when they're coming out.
Thanks, subscription guy.
Thank you.
He's still here. Yes.
You haven't gotten rid of him yet.
I haven't gotten rid of him yet. Okay, so this is the eyeliner. It's a black eyeliner. It goes on a little bit pulley when you put it on. You hear subscription guy making his drink. I think my videos are not complete unless you can hear him making a drink in the background. So I got to figure out how to film at 5 in the morning when he's not up. But then I look like 5 in the morning. I don't want to look like 5 in the morning. Okay, so on one side, it is an eyeliner liquid with that kind of you could do the wing thing. And on the other side, you've got the crayon, which is thicker. This was actually a fairly nice thing, although it was a little bit pulley. I don't like pulley crayons. You know, what I mean by pulley is they are hard to get the color onto your eyes, so they pull the skin when you're drawing them across. And that probably, doing that every day is not a good thing. We don't want to keep teaching our skin bad habits. So anyway, I did actually like the eyeliner. The eyeshadow powders, though, they were not long lasting enough. Again, for the price point, the waste of packaging, this was not a happy thing for me. So Edward Bess was a total fail. I'm really sorry. It says Edward Bess Black Sea Collection. I did go to the drugstore and I bought a couple of mascaras. This one I bought, this is new from NYX. This is the On the Rise Volume Lift Mascara. I was impressed with this. Now it has one of those kind of scratchy plastic applicators, so when you're putting it on, it's like ow, 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 ow. You know, it's like a scratchy, I don't know, prickly kind of brush, and it's a little bit liquidy, so you get a little bit of splatter here and there. But you know, I always say after you do your mascara, always, always, always go into a magnifying mirror and then just go through and just clean it up a little bit. This thing held all day. It did not smear. Gave me a nice big old honking lash like I like. I was impressed. I thought it's one of the better ones. I don't really like NYX mascaras, but I liked this one. I thought this was really nice. So, On the Rise. I think it is brand new from NYX. So, I think I got mine at Ulta. So if you see it, it is definitely worth it. I was really surprised. But I was in CVS and I bought another mascara from LA Girl, and this is the Fiber Mascara Lash in a gold tube. This one had a nice softer wand, and I enjoyed putting this on more. It gives the same effect as the NYX, and I think they're eye to eye on the pricing. And this one might be a little less. This is $5.99. Now this is a plastic applicator also, but it's softer, and the bristles are a little bit tinier. But what I liked about the NYX one compared to this is the NYX one really separates your lashes. This one has all those little fibers mixed into the formulation, so when you put it on, it extends your lashes out, which is really nice, but you can see the little dots sometimes. You have to clean it up a little bit afterwards. And I use it upper and lower. I don't care. Liza Minnelli. Really nice. So the Fiber Mascara from LA Girl was definitely a hit. It got really hot. We had a weird fall. We had like really cold, we had really hot. This did not smear in the heat, and that's my big test with mascara. It can't smear, and it has to give me like nice big honking lashes. Neither one of these was real easy to take off though, so if that's a big thing with you, you may not like that because they were both kind of difficult to take off, to remove at night. Prancing through the TJ Maxx, I saw this, and I'm such a sap for the 80s and the early 90s. Laura Ashley eyeshadow. Isn't that nice? Don't you feel like you should have a cup of tea? Laura Ashley eyeshadow in beautiful floral box, pale lavender tin. Here we go. Laura Ashley. This had potential. It has a nice mirror. It has, you know, a fairly good color story here. You know, you've got a light color here, you've got a transition here, a nice deeper purple here. I had high hopes for this. Awful, awful. I think I liked the brush that came with it, but the color story was not so good. TJ Maxx, and I think it was some outrageously low price, like $4.99, $5.99. So, but still it's not worth it. $6 I don't have now for my coffee and my wake up wrap. So, Laura Ashley was a fail. Now also a fail, and I'm a big Wet n Wild fan. I love them. I've bought their products since I was buying makeup, since they came out. And I love their earlier palettes, the big ones, you know, Comfort Zone and all of those. They just recently changed the packaging on those. And some people swear they've changed the formulation a little bit as well. This is in their Halloween collection, and I picked it because I like the blues and greens, and I thought I would do something with those colors because I have all the neutral browns and grays and stuff. I thought I'd, you know, head out of my comfort zone a little bit. No mirror, but they never do. There's a black shade that's nice. This kind of dark brownish shade is really nice. They come off a little lighter than how they appear in the pans, and I'm finding I was a little disappointed in the payout. The color payout was not there. They don't even swatch very well. I mean, that's, can hardly see it, can hardly see it. So even putting it in my color bar, which is what I do with these kind of colors, I just put it right in the very center of my eye. It just didn't have the pop that their other formulations have, and I don't think that they sent these to the same place to be purchased, to be made. I mean, the pans are the same, but I don't think the formula is. This is the Boo Crew. And I mean, a couple of the colors were nice in this, so I mean, it's only like, what, $3.99, $4.99, something like that. But the quality just wasn't there. I can't recommend this. You know, I have like their earlier one. This is the Nude Awakening palette, and they look similar because of the packaging. But the formulation on this feels very different than this. This feels cheap, and I know that when a lot of companies do holiday releases, it's cheap. It's cheaper formulations. There's more filler in there, less pigments. So I can't recommend this, and I'm really disappointed. That's too bad. Instabake. Instabake. Beauty Bakerie. The real sad thing about a lot of these fails is that I bought them a couple of months ago, and then when we moved, I had 6 weeks of inactivity. Well, there's a 60-day limit on when you purchase and when you can return, so I cannot return these things. This is the Instabake from Beauty Bakerie, and this is the shade Frappe Hour. So Frappe Hour, I thought, was my color, my perfect color concealer. It is not. It's so light. You can see how light it is. So when you put it under your eyes, you look like a raccoon. But even worse, it really creased. I usually will test. If I'm swatching in a store, I'll test it right there. Because I know that if it doesn't do well with these wrinkles, it's not going to do well with these wrinkles. So I tap it in and spread it out, and you can see how light it is. We're talking raccoon. Now, I bought this online, so I didn't know, and it was like the third one in line. It wasn't like it was the lightest shade. It was like the third one in line. It dries down almost immediately, and it looks so dry. Talk about Beauty Bakerie, like dry. So this is not for the aging eye. This is not a good color for a concealer. Maybe to brighten on the inside of your eye, but it dries down so quickly. By the time you're tapping it in to smooth it out, it's already dry. So this was a total waste of money. I'm very, very unhappy with the formulation. I think that they could have done a better job. I know that her powders are great, but that's a dry product. So Instabake from Beauty Bakerie was a fail. This one's going to shock you because it shocked the heck out of me. This is Wayne Goss's number 13 face brush. I got it last year in a December, it was one of those goodie bags, you know, lucky bags, whatever they were called, lucky bags. I'm going to show you. You see this? I'm kind of hard on my brushes. I wash them with olive oil and Shea Moisture Black African soap, and I run them over the Real Techniques nubby kind of mitt thing. And I did this, and I think the water was too hot, and it released the brush bristles from the ferrule. This is the ferrule. I think it released it, it melted the glue or something that was holding them in, because when it dried, I picked it up, I put it in my powder, I went whoosh, 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 and I was covered like a cat hair. It was like cat hair all over my face. I was like, oh my God. And it won't stop. I can't use this brush anymore. Every single time I put it in anything, it sheds a million hairs. So, and I love Wayne Goss. I get a kick out of him. I watch his videos, but I guess I have to be gentler on the brushes when I wash them. So I've never had this problem with another brush. It has never happened to me. I've had e.l.f. brushes, you know, like from here to the handle, from the ferrule part to the handle. I've had them separate, and I just put some glue there and hold them back. That's the only thing that's ever happened. And sometimes I've had them be a little misshapen, like they'll stick out funny like a bad hair day. But never did I have something like that. Absolutely disappointing. I can't use this brush anymore, and it's so disappointing because I used to love this brush. So I don't know if it's on me or not, or if it was the really hot water. So if you have one of these, if it's happened to you, let me know. But a big warning, don't use really hot water when you're washing quality brushes. ZOEVA Foundation. I saw mixed reviews on it. It says Natural Luminous Foundation. And this color is Brilliant, number 60W. So I didn't know the number system with that one. That was kind of odd. But when I tried this, I had the same problem that I had with the other foundation. First of all, it is a little warm tone. when I blended it out, I thought initially it looked good, and then I looked in my magnifying mirror. It was horrific. It sat on the skin funny. It's slightly shiny, but it's not bad for aging skin, and you do get a radiance from it. So I didn't mind that part, but I didn't like the way it sat on my skin. It just sat there. It wouldn't blend in very well. It sat there. It looked a little patchy, and it sunk into all the lines, of course. And underneath the eyes area, it was just a hot mess. And not last very long, and again, it was sitting on my skin. So when I go to get on my phone, you get this imprint, and it's bad. I mean, I'm not like hot and flashy. She likes to test everything with everything like this, and I don't, you know, I'm not that picky about it, but it was noticeably not settling in right. It wasn't blended in right with my skin. Even putting a setting spray over the top one day that I tried with it. I tried every possible way I could to make this work, and it did not. So ZOEVA was a fail. I think it's a fail for dry skin with texture. It's a fail for smooth skin with oiliness. And I think it's because of something in that formulation does not meld into your skin properly. And I did not moisturize my face one day. I tried it with primer, without primer. I got the same results. So I have to say ZOEVA, the foundation, was a fail. And it's very disappointing when a high-end foundation is a fail. This one surprised me because I have liked their Flawless Foundation version. This is the serum. This is the foundation serum from e.l.f. Cosmetics. And of course, it's very inexpensive. This stuff is just like watered down nothingness. The color was a little bit light for me. No smell, which is nice. Usually I like the e.l.f. products, and I love their powder puff. I hope they didn't discontinue that because their powder puffs are the best. It's very light, and this particular color wasn't flattering on me, but it looked very, you could see the pigments in it, you know, so it looked very patchy, and you could see granules. On my face I could see granules, and it wasn't my dry skin, it was the foundation, like fibers or something in the foundation. I don't know. Didn't work for me at all, unfortunately. I'm always trying new foundations for good ones, and I do have some favorite foundations that were, well, I could stop there if I was a regular person, but I'm not a regular person. I work here. Well, I do this. I don't work here. Also in TJ Maxx, I don't know if this is old or if I just missed the boat when this came out. This is the Too Faced Better Than Love mascara. It's not the Better Than Sex mascara, it's Better Than Love. So I don't know if that came first and then the sex, or if the sex came first and then the love. I don't know. It's never like that in real life. There we go. Nice feel to the tube. It's very grainy. And you have that famous sort of hourglassy shape. The formulation, very, very runny, sticky, smeary. What a disappointment. It was, it didn't work when it got hot. It didn't work when I was sweating. It smeared all over the place. It was very disappointing, and I don't think it really gave me very much of a good lash either. So this was a fail on so many levels. I hope it's not a new product for them because they messed up. I think this was replaced with Better Than Sex. So when you buy makeup at TJ Maxx, you don't know what you're getting, you know. So this is very good. This is from WETnWILD. This is the Loose Color Icon Loose Pigment. Now don't be afraid of this, just because, you know, we're used to seeing pressed makeup. Like this is the WETnWILD Brulee, which is a very popular one. It's pressed powder. We're comfortable with that. Not so comfortable with this, because when you open it up, this has a little stopper and a shaker, and you pour a little out. Now this can be unnerving to people because they see that and they can't equate it with eyeshadow. So it's like, okay, now I've got to take my eyeshadow brush and go into this. Well, yeah, you do. And it looks great. It's a wonderful pigment. It's very pigmented. So I do like this. I think pigments can be kind of messy sometimes when you use them. But I like this. I'm just trying to give a little pow here so you can see the difference of what it does. See what it does? See the difference? Let me just put that over here now so I'm balanced. So pigments are very, very strong, and a lot of pigments are not suitable for use around your eye because if they get into your eyeball, they can cause problems with irritation, and so they say that they're not recommended for around the eye, but here they are. It's eyeshadow, okay? So it's around the eye. So you just have to be careful and tap it in gently, pressing it in. You don't want it to be fluffy, like whooshing in there really fast. You want to press it in there when you've got a pressed pigment because you just don't want this stuff going into your eye or going all over the place. A lot of times after your makeup, if you see a lot of fallout down here in that area, probably a lot of that is you. You didn't, tap off your brush or you put it on a little bit too rough. So take it easy. So I like it. This is the color. Let me check the color out here. You're My Boo. So this is in the Halloween collection. I really like it. Beautiful, satiny, shimmery, light color. And I think this is flattering on everybody. This is a wonderful little thing. And this will last quite a while. So it's just a little messy to use. You've got to find a surface. Maybe you can, Ulta put this out. This is neat. You can pour a little on there and then use your brush to tap it that way if you don't want to use your hand. For some reason I use my hand for everything because I think it warms it up and it helps it meld into your skin more, but that's me. I think too hard about stuff. Pure Minerals. This was on sale at Kohl's. I think they're discontinuing their Pure stuff or else they just were getting rid of old stock. This is a double-ended brow pencil. One end has a very light, kind of tawny looking blonde brow pencil, and the other side is supposed to be a highlight that you use like right under the brow and then right over the brow to accentuate it. But this pink side is very patchy looking and dry and flaky. So when you put it on there, it looks like you dragged a pencil across, like it's really bad. So I didn't like that side at all, but I did kind of like the brow side. I don't like this kind of a brush. It's the flat kind of brush. I don't like that for doing my brows. I like the spoolie kind of brush, the one that has like, spoolie, so you can really brush up. This kind of, it's almost like a comb, and I don't feel like I'm getting enough of the hair with that kind of a brush. So it was on sale. It was really cheap, so I'm not using this at all, but I like the brow end, so you can decide if it's worth it. It is on sale, and it's a quality product. I went and bought this because I couldn't find my eye palettes except for my aforementioned Game of Thrones. So I bought the Smashbox Trio Kit. This has got cheek products and 2 different eyeshadow palettes in it. So I thought these would be good because Smashbox is hit or miss with me. Sometimes their shadow palettes are good and sometimes they suck. They're somewhere in between. This is the cheek palette. You get a kind of strong blush here. And then you get a very light tan bronzer. And then you get a highlight that isn't really all that much different from the bronzer, except it is very shiny. So I guess in a pinch this would do. I felt that this blush was more of a cool tone for a medium skin person. I don't know, it just didn't wow me. There is a mirror with it, and I like the packaging. It's really cute. Now there's 2 eyeshadow palettes. This is the neutral one, which is the brown neutrals. Reminds me a little of the Kat Von D, a couple of the segments of the Kat Von D. Now this wasn't bad. They have a shimmer here, and then they have a flat here, and then they've got, for your crease color, they don't really have a good mid-tone. This is too light to be the mid-tone crease color, and this is a little too dark for that point. And this is really nice, the dark color was. They have a kind of a goldy color and a very light gold and a very pale pinky kind of thing. You can use on your cheeks or you can use it as an eyeshadow. I put that right up in here, but that did disintegrate down into little twinkles on my eye later on. So not bad. It's not the greatest eyeshadow palette, but I thought it was a very workable thing, and I did use it the first week when we moved because I didn't have my eyeshadow palettes. This is the other one, and I like the fact that it had some interesting colors in it. You've got this kind of, it's showing orange here, but it's more of a neutral pink. I can put that right up in here and you can see it better. It's a neutral pink transition shade. Then you have a darker purple and a lighter purple. These really look beautiful on the eye. Let me just change my eye look completely here. They're pigmented and they're really pretty. Of course, going over the top of something else with my finger is not probably the smartest thing. Anyway, and they have this kind of a different shade of purple that's more of a, I don't know, I guess it's more of a gray with a slight purple tone to it. I mean, you can go totally cool tone. I think I was disappointed in this one. Yeah, this one hardly had any pigmentation at all, and it did not transfer well onto the eyes. So I think even though, and you know, the dark blue didn't have very much, I think the black I liked. Yeah, the black was good. It's a flat matte black. You can use it for lining, or you can deepen up some of these other shades by mixing them with the black. And then you have kind of, it's a satiny, we're down to knuckles here. We're doing this. Whoa, I just destroyed that. It's a satiny look. Yeah, let's see if we can swatch with my knuckle here. First time, huh? Seeing a swatch with a knuckle. Yeah, it's slightly satiny. I'm not that incredibly impressed. And then this one is a pale lavender, which I think it has a little bit more of a pigmentation to it, but it's still, this palette really lacked enough quality, enough pigmentation for me to get excited about it. So I think this was a holiday release, I'm not sure. So how many of you ordered Tati's palette? Did you? How many of you are going to order Shane and Jeffree Star's palette? I see less hands. Anyway, so this is the Smashbox. It's $39, so roughly what? So about $13 for a palette. Yeah, I guess, you know, if you think it's $13 a palette, it's okay. But I think that the pigmentation is too sketchy with this for me to recommend it. This face palette, I think, is very limited. If you have a skin tone that's too warm, it may not look good. If you have a skin tone that's darker, this may not show up on your skin. So I'm not sure that this is my favorite thing. It probably is going to go back. So I'll take one thing back. My Damn Girl mascara failed me. I had this in my purse, so I used this. It's smeared all over the place, and I don't know if it's because I've had it for 3 weeks, or if it was the weather, or it was stuck near a heater. I don't know, but when I put it on, it seemed to be gloppier and thicker. And when I blinked at work, I was on the phone, doing stuff. Outside it was hot, inside it was cold. It smeared all over my eyes, and it smudged underneath my eyes. So I'm going to have to say, I'm going to change my mind on the Too Faced Damn Girl mascara. I'm not happy with it, and I think it's just an aging thing. Maybe from pulling it open and putting it back in, maybe it got thicker that way and that's what hurt it. I don't know, but it did fail. I meant to mention this earlier. This is something I got at the 20% off sale at Sephora. This is their organizer for makeup. I mean, I literally can hold pretty much all my main makeup except for my brushes and my lip products. Everything's in here. And my palettes, of course. So it's great. The drawers are acrylic. They hold a lot. I have a drawer for each type of makeup that I have. I'll give you a tour someday. I have the eye primers in here. I have the concealers. These are mascaras and eyeliners. I have foundations here. I have powders and under eye powders here. The heaviest drawer here is I have blushes and highlighters and contour and bronzers. So I think that it's an all-purpose, perfect organizer for everything. It's really so easy when all of your things are organized. Like when you know all of your face primers are in one spot, it's so nice. I don't have IKEA drawers because I don't have that much makeup. As much as I talk about makeup and seem to have a lot, I don't. I'm not a hoarder. So, Fenty. I want to talk about this. This is their Pro Filt'r foundation from Fenty, and I might have discussed it last month, but I don't remember because it's been 6 weeks. Okay, so this is the Pro Filt'r, supposed to be hydrating. This is the shade 210 from Fenty Beauty, and I love Rihanna. I think, you know, I love some of her stuff, and I tell you, the contour, this amber contour is one of my holy grail items. This is the shade 210. There is a pump. This one, not bad. There is a scent to it that I'm not keen on. Yeah, it's a flowery, perfumey kind of scent. You can see it's gone kind of gold and yellow, and it seems to be different because I have the 200 and the 190 in the regular. For some reason, it was summertime when I bought this. It does oxidize a little bit, and it is a little bit way too, this is not my skin tone. So it didn't work for me, but one thing I didn't like was that when it dried down, it looked very, very cakey, cupcake base. And it's not supposed to. This is supposed to be hydrating and good for all skin types, especially dry skin. And it was, you know, people threw shade at this for all kinds of reasons. But my reason was that it just didn't work with textured older skin, and the color was way off from what it looked like on the website. So Fenty, the Pro Filt'r, which is supposed to be for everybody, for dry skin people, it is not. It dried down quickly and it didn't look so good on my skin. So, and I hate that because I just love that contour. So that's pretty much everything for my September and October faves and flops, and I know it's a long time coming. I actually didn't buy a whole lot of makeup this month, and you know, I'm burnt out, just like a lot of you, with all of the new makeup releases. There's just too many, and I mean, you know, Anastasia Beverly Hills is one of the worst people for this. They just release way too many, and they're expensive. Jackie Aina released her palette, and I was just about thinking about getting it, and then a couple others came out, and I was like, wait a minute, you know, it's just way too much all at once. And all of them are jumping on the bandwagon. The Christmas stuff is all out and coming out within the next week or so. I'm just overwhelmed, and I know that when you get a holiday release, many times it's not the same quality, so I'm probably not going to be getting holiday releases outside of Hourglass. I did order the Hourglass Edit palette, the Ghost palette. Thanks so much for watching, and subscribe if you haven't. Take care, everybody. Toodles.